Hello everyone, this is East Coast Games. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to take a look at some of the recent updates I've been up to on my title, Arid Jared, coming out sometime in the future. I'm not ready to announce any sort of release date yet because every time I think I might know, it ends up getting pushed back, as I'm sure anyone who's a developer knows happens. So let's get started. So here we have a new snow biome, and I know you're wondering, why is there snow in the desert? Well, that's why Jared is there to investigate. So here we are. We have, if you look closely, you see some of the snowman Roomba enemies emerging from underneath the snowbanks. And once they emerge, they're programmed to revolve and they will hone in on Jared. However, after a period of time, they will detonate. And you want to be careful on this stage because there's actually this little track at the top you can see, and it's spawning ice clouds, and they're going to travel south once they spawn. If it touches Jared, he will be frozen in an ice block for a period of time, and the only way to break out of it is to either wait until it melts, or if you take damage. And this was actually causing me a lot of trouble. The freezing mechanic was working, but when Jared was taking damage, the ice block would despawn, but he was still on his frozen sprite, and you wouldn't have any control of him, you couldn't cast the rune, and it was essentially game-breaking. So now what's actually happening is Jared spawns with a variable I named Jared Flash. When Jared takes damage, Jared Flash resorts to 0. So now what the game is doing is the ice block object is detecting Jared's Flash variable. If the Flash is 0, that means he took damage, and the ice block knows to despawn, and it also knows to put Jared back into his neutral state so he can move again. And the Jared Flash variable is honestly the most detrimental variable I think that's in his code, because with it, it detects if he's in a recovery state so that he's not taking successive damage, and a whole bunch of other mechanics. There's an invincibility object that I'm going to post about sometime in the future, so that's very, very helpful. Here I actually have a screenshot of that bug I was talking about where Jared was stuck in his frozen state. As you can see, very dangerous. Now, the snow trail effect that I got going for Jared and the enemies was actually done by having both Jared and the enemies creating one object per frame. It's this little gray blob, and within that object there's an alarm that will go off to delete it so that, you know, we don't want the whole map to be covered in gray. But this created just a really nice little snow effect. I was a little worried about the frame rate because if you're creating all these objects, essentially, you're going to want them to despawn pretty fast, or else that really could mess up the frame rate. So I'll see if I'll keep it in debug, depending on how much it affects it, but we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. That's about it for today. If you like this video, consider subscribing. You can follow us at East Coast Games on Instagram and Twitter. And we rely on word of mouth, so please tell your friends if you think they'd be interested, and have a great day.